Hi, I'm Derek Nelson. I'm a pastor, professor, and woodworker, and I want to show you this, the Evergreen. It's my experiment in environmental ethics, timber framing, and sustainable living. To fight quarantine boredom, I decided I needed a big project. I'm currently writing a scholarly book on the history of technology, the doctrine of the incarnation, and the relationship of the human to the material world. I'm especially focused on biblical passages where God is described as having a home on planet Earth or even in the body of Jesus. But to save myself from being only in my head, I decided I should do a hands-on project. What could I learn if I built a home from scratch? What might I learn about environmental ethics and sustainable living? Thus the Evergreen. I've always wanted to build a timber frame. I had several other goals though. I wanted it to be beautiful, 500 square feet or more for a family of 3, cost less than $25,000, built to last 250 years, and be fully deconstructible and could be re-erected somewhere else or reconfigured. I'm happy to say I hit all those goals. I think it's a beautiful project. I hope you'll agree. Here's what I did. To clear this site, I cut down this 190-year-old hollow red oak and this very not hollow 130-year-old maple. With some 8th grade geometry, I laid out 9 holes and put tubes in the ground to hold the concrete piers. Every kid likes to see her initials. After the piers were poured, I raked gravel. Then on March 28th last year, my timbers were delivered. Working outside, listening to the birds was just great. The building sits on a white oak sill held together by notches. This is the most tedious way ever to make the notches. I learned better. I had to get these 700-pound sills in place without equipment. Notches are made also to hold tapered floor joists. Half laps at the corners and scarf joints in the middle. I find this joinery very elegant and satisfying. My daughter coaches me on joists with soffits to hold insulation. A plywood subfloor goes on top. The 6-year-old wanted me to stop at the "it's a stage" stage. Posts are the vertical members with tenons on both ends. They're temporarily in place so I could measure for the tie beam length. 10th grade geometry for the knee brace locations. I made a replica 18th century Moravian bench to work on. My friends Scott, Dave, and Sam help get the bents up. A crane helps too. My wife Kelly helps me measure for the rafter length. Hand planing the rafters gives me Popeye-like forearms. Half the rafters are now in place, and now all 22 are in place, thanks to Jeremy and Dan's help. Poplar roof boards and ceiling go on top of the rafters. Synthetic felt on top of that. Then 2x4 purlins hold 3 inches of insulation and the metal roof. The skylight took as long as the rest of the roof combined. Structural insulated panels, or SIPs, from my drawings form the walls. They're framed for windows and doors and contain conduit. House wrap and windows go on next. Fiber cement board goes on then, with lap siding below, and shakes up in the gable of a complementary color. I hate doing sheetrock, but at least with SIP's panels there aren't studs to try to hit. My wife is a gifted mudder and primer, thank goodness. White ash boards of random width make the floor. Using random widths means you can use the whole board and minimize waste. Here's the completed floor, about to be coated with Waterlock's penetrating oil. I also wanted to make all of the contents of the home from scratch. Here's an L-shaped kitchen with white oak cabinets just begun. Concrete countertops are poured into a form and agitated to clear the air bubbles. Here's the kitchen before, the rustic slate-looking countertops. And after. They're really beautiful and actually quite cheap if you do it yourself. Here's an alternating tread staircase that goes up to the loft, where you can find a tatami-style bed made from walnut and poplar. Here's a standing desk when the top is folded down. Raise the top and it's a writing desk with a webcam height shelf on top of that. Bookshelves and a drawer to the side. Here's one of 6 chairs. Chairs are hard. Chairs take forever. Benches are easy. Here's one next to the dining table for storage. The walnut dining table with a trestle bottom. Pull out the tusk tenons and this base comes apart quite easily. Here's the homemade front door, craftsman style. The back door doesn't have the dental molding, it has just one window. Here you can see the nice contrast between the rafter tails and the polyurethane poplar roof boards. The bathroom vanity is beautiful, quarter sawn white oak and a concrete countertop. This is a fun place to be. Nothing is disposable, nothing's plastic. Rocking chairs take forever too, but you gotta sit. You can resonate here. It's the kind of place where you can feel truly at home. My wife wanted a fireplace, but we already had this outdoor unit. Wood burns in the top chamber, but all the smoke actually burns in the bottom one. It's so efficient that this heats the whole house and my shop to 60 degrees on 6 pieces of firewood per day. Well, there you have it. That's the Evergreen. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and can forgive the lousy editing. I'm making a slightly longer one that has a bit more detail about the actual construction, but also more about why I'm doing this and what I think it can teach the church and a planet in peril. Check back for that longer version soon. Thanks, and God bless.